Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dumb Thoughts Smart Talks podcast with Benjamin.
And Cassidy. And today we're talking about movie remakes.
Movie remakes. All right.
Yeah. So I guess this is gonna be more me centric. Hi, welcome to the Cassie cast. But
Sure.
like, cause Disney's been remaking all of their classics, right?
Right, you're definitely more of a movie person than I am,
Yeah.
so this will be more up your alley.
Yeah.
I'll be able to throw in my 2 cents here and there,
Yeah.
but
I'll just go ahead and get to the point. They are soulless cash grabs. I don't like them. I only like one of them.
when you say soulless cash grabs,
I mean,
give
they're
me an
just
example.
okay. Like, let's go with the Lion King remake.
Okay.
It's the exact same movie.
All right.
They're not adding to the lore in any way, shape, or form. It's the same songs, the same thing is happening. It's just in CGI. And it had Beyonce.
Okay.
So, like, I don't understand the point of doing that when I can just go back and watch the cult classic, The Lion King, which I actually like the way it looks better. I like animation a lot more than CGI. I love the art form. I love seeing, like, the little subtle movements, even though it was made back in the 90s. And
No, I think I understand where you're coming from. I think that comes down to a personal preference, whether you like art versus CGI. But I will agree with you on this. If it's the same thing,
yeah,
and the only difference is animals that clearly look too realistic,
yeah.
I would rather watch the original.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'll go to the one that I actually like is the Cinderella remake. I like that one because it's the same story, but they're expanding the universe. They're adding more to it. Like, the prince actually has a personality and a name, and he has stuff going on in his life. You actually get to meet and speak to the father. You meet the mother, and you get to see why Cinderella did what she did. Like, why did she stay in that house? Why did she take that abuse and not leave? Like, you get to see so much more. And the visuals were beautiful, in my opinion. I loved it. And for some reason, Helena Bonham Carter made a really great fairy godmother. I kind of wish she was mine.
I guess when it comes to the Disney remakes, I'm not a fan of them at all.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're children's movies, right?
Yeah.
That are being remade for an older audience.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate that. Like, if I want to
But
watch something for nostalgia, I watch the original. I don't want all this fake
I guess more
stuff, I
my gripe
guess.
with it is I don't care if it's in live action or not.
Yeah, I don't either. I actually prefer animation because I love art.
I think you can get away with more as an animation
Yeah,
rather than live action. Live action seems a little forced at times
yeah.
when you have things that aren't physically there for the actors to work with.
And it's very limited.
Right.
Like Avatar: The Last Airbender versus the movie that we shall not speak of. One was amazing. One should be burned.
Yeah, I agree. That movie was very bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Hmm.
But no, I think I understand where you're coming from. I will agree a lot of them are just being remade for the sake of playing on people's nostalgia and trying to get people to come in
Money.
and say, ah, yes, I remember this movie as a kid. I really enjoyed it. And then they go and watch and they're like, why did I waste my money on that?
Yeah, like instead of
Like with the new Mulan.
oh God, I didn't even watch it. I knew
I
it was
didn't
gonna be
either,
bad.
but I
I
anticipated it was going to be
Yeah.
bad. And then after the reviews and stuff
Oh,
came
the
out, it was
reviews.
just a
Yeah.
horrible.
Like there was no music, there was no Mushu. Instead of having the music, they would just like say the lyrics sometimes. Like, oh hey, remember this song? It's not here, but we're making you think of it and make you sad. And then like they made Mulan a Mary Sue. Like she could do everything from birth. She was just gifted. She could do whatever she wants. She could cut flips with her hair down. And then that which they're like, oh, Mulan's empowering. No, no, she's not. She can do whatever she wants. And it's quite the opposite because they gave her a sister who was still forced into a marriage at the end of the movie. Like, how is that empowering? That's telling women that unless you're born amazing and special, you just have to get married and have kids. Hi, baby machine gun. Brrr, wah. You have babies now. That's all you can do.
I'm glad you got that out of all of that because I completely missed that
Oh,
at some point.
yeah,
Again, I never watched it, so
yeah.
I don't know. What I will say is Mulan was not gifted in everything. She
Not in
had
the not in
original.
the
No,
air.
she had to train significantly harder
Yes.
in order to catch up.
She, because that's the
It was
moral
her
of the,
crossing the
yes,
the challenge. It was her owning up to the difficulties of being a woman in a situation where men dominated.
yes,
And she owned up to it, and that was like, all right, we've got an awesome female protagonist,
exactly.
right? But in the new one, if again, I haven't seen it, so I'm basing this clearly
Yeah,
off what you
like,
told me. If she could do everything from the start, then there was no point of her journey. There was no
no.
point of her going through the hardships, of her getting smacked and beaten down
Like, there's no
in training.
satisfaction when she makes it to the top of the pole.
Right. It's, oh well, we knew she was going to do it.
Oh, yay, there, you did it. We knew you could.
Yeah.
It's very anticlimactic.
And that just comes down to a storyboard issue where the writers were trying too hard.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And this is something I always laugh about when I think about it. There was the people Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the people who made South Park. All right, look, you can laugh if you want.
You will reference them as much as you can.
You're gonna laugh, but
Okay.
they made such a good point. It's not about what happens; it's about does it make sense.
Yeah.
Right. And then this got echoed by Dan Harmon and I can't remember the other guy who made uh, Rick and Morty.
Oh, I forgot his name.
It'll come to me.
Justin Roiland.
Justin Roiland, thank you. They said when they write Rick and Morty, it's not and then
It's but why?
yes. So instead of them going, all right, Rick opens a portal and then he goes through it and then he ends up in this planet where butts are volcanoes.
But why?
And then and instead of going and trying to build a story off of that, it was okay. Rick opened a portal to an island with butts for volcanoes. But why? He was bored and wanted to laugh at exploding farts. Right? There is logical conclusion that's made. Right? I'm using. It's a very stretched example. I understand, but like I'm just trying. I'm using their words for them.
Yeah.
Right? And in Mulan's case, it was. It wasn't. Ah, yes, Mulan will climb to the top of that pole, but why? Because she's amazing at everything. Right? That's not a good but why.
No.
It's more of a and then, right? Mulan is amazing at everything, and then she climbed to the top of the pole. Okay, we expected it.
I don't know if she actually climbed to the top of the pole in that movie because she didn't have anything to prove.
But that's my point, though, right? It feels more like an and then rather than a but why.
Yeah. Like just like why did it like why are so many things being remade is what I want to know.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a soulless cash grab
Yeah.
because it's playing on people's nostalgia.
Like if you want to play on nostalgia, remaster the animation and release it in theater so that
They
kids.
did that for a few of them.
Yeah, they did for a few of them, and I thought they went really well.
Yeah,
But
and
like
and some of their newer stuff's not bad at all either. Like Moana,
Moana.
Moana. Thank you.
Moana.
Listen, I don't remember.
Your niece watches it 4 times a day,
That's why I
even
don't,
when she's in here
I,
at this house.
I don't listen. You know, but anyway, so Moana, Frozen. While people give it crap, it was a new step for them.
Yes.
It, Brave,
Yeah.
Tangled. I mean, these
Princess
are
and the
all
Frog.
new things that they've made that were all good.
Yeah.
Why not continue to play on what you do well instead of trying to go back and say, ah,
Hey.
yes, let's go back and make this movie that was good again, but eliminate all the things that made it good to begin with, replace it with this, and then say, hey, let's get a creative team together that just makes crappy storyboard decisions.
Yeah. And well, I think we've racked on Disney enough. Oh, we can keep going. Talk about how Beauty and the Beast skyrocketed.
Look, this is yours to go because
If
I'm just following you on this
if
one.
I'm being
I don't know much about this.
Like I remember there was so much flack. Like, oh, they made LeFou gay. I thought he was always gay. Like
Okay.
no man loves another man that much without being gay. That's not bromance. That's unacquitted affection.
Yeah, as a kid, it didn't dawn on me, but when I went back and watched it some years ago, I was like, yeah, LeFou kind of
a
cares
little
a little.
fruity.
Yeah, he cares
He
a little too
sang
much
a
about
whole
Gaston.
song about how amazing he was.
Yeah, he's, no one's as good as Gaston. And even mentioned handsome and like
Yeah.
all these other things, right?
He's a hairy man.
Right. So LeFou definitely had affection for
Yes.
Gaston, So it's not like it's anything new.
No, it's not at all. That's why I was so confused. Like, this isn't new.
Right.
And then I don't know. It was the same movie. Nothing against any of the actors or anything like that. It's just, I just don't see the point. Because I mean, yeah, you're a company, you need to make money, but I feel like you're going to make a lot more money if you make a passion project and advertise it well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. Because like apparently there was a Dumbo remake that I didn't even know existed. It flopped so badly I didn't know it was a thing.
I remember hearing about it. I think it was a live action one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that I heard did awful.
Like Dumbo is like in my top 5 favorite movies as a kid. So the fact that they remade it and ruined it is very sad to me.
Any other remakes that bother you?
Women only remakes.
Women only remakes?
Yeah, like you know how they made the women Ghostbusters,
Oh.
women's Oceans. Like I am all for girl power stuff, okay? But I don't consider it girl power if you're taking a movie that's already been made, make it for women, and then put in a bunch of vagina jokes. It's not funny. It's not empowering. I don't want to watch it. If you want to make something empowering to women, come up with a new idea, like Wonder Woman. That was amazing. Moana, awesome. Frozen, sister love. Even though Lilo and Stitch did sister love first, just saying.
The only one I can speak to in full confidence that you listed was the Ghostbuster one.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I can also speak on the Oceans one
Yeah.
as well. I absolutely agree. You don't take a movie, especially a classic nostalgic one such as
Yes.
Ghostbusters, and replace all of the actors such as Bill Murray.
You can't replace Bill Murray, let's be honest.
No, you don't replace Bill Murray with a female counterpart and then
No.
expect the same outcome.
I mean, like, if you wanted to do something like that, you could make it like the next generation and let it be
They could have,
completely new
yeah,
characters and not
they
a
could have
women
made
carbon
it.
copy.
Hey, these are these guys' kids, and
Yeah,
they've grown up, and
yeah,
they fell into the family business. That would have made more sense than,
it
oh
would.
yes, it's the same movie except all the actors are female.
Yeah.
It ruins the purpose. And then when you take away that cohesion that the original actors had,
Hmm.
and that fluid comedic effect that they all had,
Yeah, that chemistry.
yeah, the chemistry, and you replace it with a group of women who I don't know anything about as far as what their acting careers were before this, and they can't deliver on the same level.
Yeah.
They don't have the same acting prowess. They don't
Yeah.
have the same
They
comedic
don't all have
effect.
that chemistry
Right, and
together.
it's very apparent, and that's why the movie did so bad. As far as the Oceans movie goes, the Oceans movies were great. It's about a bank heist group
Yeah.
that
And
don't necessarily rob banks, but they're robbing like
like you can
casinos. They're looking for rare jewels and stuff,
yeah.
and they're setting up these huge, elaborate heists. Why does it matter? Like, why are you going back and making a women's version of that? There were women in the original Oceans movies.
Yeah.
I think the problem I have with it is you're going back and making it women only for the sake of being women only to
Oh,
play
exactly.
into a select group of people.
Yeah.
Right? It's not meant to be good. It's not meant to be the next film. It's not meant to be a new series. It's just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason behind it.
No. It's a soulless cash grab to appeal to new age feminists.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I'd rather just watch a good movie.
Yeah, right. I'd rather enjoy the movie I'm watching.
Yeah. Like, and you can even have um a movie with a male protagonist and a really awesome female deuteragonist. Like How to Train Your Dragon. Astrid's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a
Um,
great
Kung Fu
example.
Panda, Tigress.
Awesome.
Yes.
Right? But that proves your point. You don't need some
You don't need an all woman cast to
nor
be
do you need a
empowering to
female
women.
centric
No.
role for it to be great for women.
Yeah.
Um, for instance, what was that one movie? I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's a chick flick. The guy's in a wheelchair, and he's a part of a rich family, and a woman gets hired to take care of him.
Me Before You?
Is it Me Before You?
I'm not sure. Do you have, can
I
you look
don't.
it up?
Regardless, you know what I'm referring to.
Yes.
She starts off as your typical, or stereotypical, I
Mhm.
should say, woman where she's timid. She doesn't really know how to act around this guy who's being very rude and crass to her. And then over the course of the movie, she becomes a new person. She becomes able to handle it. She becomes, rigid in her own thoughts and process. She becomes more in touch with who she is as a person.
Mhm.
And then it transitions into a love story. And then the ending, for those who haven't seen it, spoiler warning, he kills himself.
Yeah, and if anything, that's like a mental health awareness thing. Getting someone a girlfriend does not cure their depression.
No, but the whole point of the movie was it was her journey with him, right? People think the movie's about him and his disability and all that. It's not. It's about the fact that she started off as the stereotypical woman who doesn't understand, these all these man things, and she's timid and she doesn't understand, and then she grows into this loving, kind person who's able to stand her own. And then just when she thinks she's gotten her life together around this individual who she's fallen in love with over the course of years of taking care of him, I should say,
Mhm.
he then leaves her by saying, "I can't live like this anymore," and then kills himself.
Yeah.
And she has to cope with that and has to reconnect with herself. And that's such a good message,
Mhm.
right? And people throw that to the wayside in favor of something like female Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, it could be how that was advertised as well. Like I think advertising goes huge.
It
It's a
does, but
huge deal
even
for a
in the
movie.
movie, right?
Yeah.
Even if the movie is advertised poorly, if it's a good movie, people are going to say, okay, that's actually a good movie. The
Yeah.
advertising sucked, but that was a good movie.
Yeah.
People said not only did the advertising suck, but the movie was horrible. I think it got like a Rotten Tomato scores when it initially came out of like 2.
Yeah, but it could just be one of those things that people thought it was a chick flick and they fell asleep. Like, oh, I fell asleep, it sucked.
No, 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 not Me Before You, Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, Ghostbusters. Yeah, sorry.
That movie got an
Yeah, is it?
overwhelming positively response.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking. When I said the Rotten Tomato score were 2, I'm referring to
Oh
Ghostbusters.
yeah, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Right. So it's instead of making a movie for the sake of making a movie, there was a purpose, right? Instead of having a female protagonist for the sake of having a female protagonist, there was reason, there was purpose, there was growth. Instead of having a woman replace a male role of a movie that's already been made, make a new one that has a reason to be there, with
Mhm.
something that's relatable, something that
Yes.
women can look up to,
Yeah.
and say, yes.
Yeah, 'cause I love a good coming of age, becoming yourself story. As someone who's not of age and not herself yet.
It's like Forrest Gump for guys.
Oh.
Well, any other movies?
Um,
Again, you're more the movie person than I am. I don't
yeah,
watch too many.
I'm trying to
And the
think.
few that I do watch are more like sci-fi or
Yeah,
fantasy. Like I like to see something that's visually pleasing that I think is potentially possible one day.
yeah,
I love that kind of playing on the what if factor.
yeah.
That's kind of where I am.
That's what I've noticed that with our anime preferences. Because you only watch shonen anime.
Well,
I
that
will
so
watch anything as
so
long as I
if
get the
I'm not
story
watching
together.
sci-fi or fantasy, I'm watching pure action,
Yeah.
generally speaking. So I love like intricate fight scenes. I love watching, and I think that's just because I enjoy mixed martial arts and
Yeah.
seeing like people really pull out the full stops on what you potentially can do.
And that's my thing is I did a lot of art in high school. In high school I read like a book a week. I was on a first name basis with the librarian. So like I'm into the visual arts but also the storytelling itself.
Don't get
Like
me
I
wrong, I love a
want
good story.
good world building. I want to know the origins of this place. What's going on? Why is this happening?
Right, don't get me wrong, I love a good story.
Yeah.
Right, I love a good story. My problem is a lot of movies try to drone on.
Like the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like
yes, here's a character. Okay, tell me about this character. This is a little bit. Okay, tell me a little bit more. Here's a little bit more. Okay, I still don't know much. All right, let me spend this entire movie explaining these characters to you. Then in the next movie, allow me to present them to you. And in the following movie, allow me to show you what they can do, get rid of 2 of them, and say, hey, we got another one coming, by the way.
yeah, like we disagree on what's the best trilogy of Star Wars. I like 4, 5, and 6. I think that's the best storytelling. Like, yeah, it's not the best visually. It's 70s, 80s live action. I still think it looks really good for its age. I will watch it whenever it comes on. One, two, and three. eh,
I like 1, 2, and 3 a lot.
Like it looks a lot better. Don't get me wrong. It looks amazing.
Right, and that's why I like it. I like the visual appeal
Hmm.
of, like, and that's the reason why I like the movie Avatar.
Yeah.
Not
Blue
that,
people, Avatar,
yeah,
the
the Blue
Money.
People Avatar. I'm sad I have to make that
That's why I said we need to burn that film. It doesn't exist.
right. So the reason why I like the movie Avatar, the actual movie
Yes.
Avatar, uh, it's visually pleasing. It's insane to think about the possibility or probability of something like this existing or
Amazing
happening.
story.
Amazing story, but it doesn't drone on. There
No.
is a
Like it's a long movie, but it needs to be a long movie.
right. It makes
Like
sense.
it's not a 3 hour Marvel movie for the sake of it being 3 hours to make more money.
Right.
Which I gave up on Marvel, to be completely honest.
Yeah, Marvel's going downhill real quick, and a lot of the actors that are playing the
Yeah.
heroes are retiring or quitting from the industry.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of telling you where they're at.
Yeah. Okay, and back to Star Wars. The newest trilogy, the
The one with Ray.
yes,
Yeah,
first
that
one
sucked.
was just episode 4 all over again. The origins of new Luke Skywalker. Um, Second one, they changed directors. The stories didn't work at all. And then third movie, they went back to the original director, and instead of working together, they spent the entirety of their movies trying to erase what the other person did, and it didn't work cohesively. It was a mess. Why did they bring Palpatine back? He was dead. The dead things stay dead. Stop bringing them back to life.
Okay, so I looked into that just ever so briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Before I go on that side note,
Yeah.
I think we can both agree the newest trilogy sucks.
Yes.
It is horrible, and they should never have made them.
Soulless cash grab.
So is Petra.
They wanted a woman, they got a woman. Leia was awesome. All you need is Leia.
All right. So I looked
R.I.P.
into the
Carrie Fisher.
Palpatine thing because I was kind of curious. I was like, all right, why did they bring him back? In some obscure, far-reaching original Star Wars comic or storyboard, I think it was a comic before. I don't know what the official term for it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it. I would consider it a comic.
Was it printed like release?
I don't.
If it's
I'd
printed
have to go
release, I
back
think
and
it's a
look.
comic.
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
I really don't remember. This was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Time.
It was some time ago. Anyway, so the reason why Palpatine came back in some obscure edition of Star Wars, he had the ability to transfer his soul into other bodies.
Why didn't he transfer his soul into a better looking body?
It becomes the same body after his soul inhabits. It's some weird.
Oh.
It's yeah. I
That
don't.
doesn't make any sense.
Right. That's why he looked so different when he was presented initially as the Chancellor.
Yeah, I think so.
And then after he used his Force Lightning, he became that old decrepit looking thing.
Yeah.
It's because his soul finally took full control of that body. I think that's what happened.
Maybe.
Anyway, so they in this obscure edition of Star Wars, they said he could do that, hence why they brought him back. But again, it's a cop out. Let's just be real here.
They didn't know what they were doing because they killed the big bad in a very
And they couldn't make a new big bad.
anticlimactic way.
Right,
in
and they
the
couldn't make a
second
new
movie.
big bad
No,
that
they
could fill
couldn't.
his shoes.
No, not at all. We didn't even know anything about Snoke.
Yeah, it's like
He was just a really big guy who was mean to Kylo Ren.
yeah.
Trauma. Builds character.
I mean, and again, that comes back to lazy storyboarding and cash grabs because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, we know people will watch it. We know
Oh my
people.
god, Han Solo's back.
Yeah, it's like,
And like they introduced so many things that
didn't work,
no, exactly.
and that didn't make sense.
Like in the second movie when Leia like forced her way back in, I busted out laughing.
Yeah, it's right. I was about to say that when she was flying through space and she was dead, and then she like I don't know, a Running Man posed in the air, like Heisman Trophy posed, and then floated her way back into the ship, and then closed off I was, what is this?
Yeah, like I mean, because the Force users can like propel themselves further, but they usually have to push off of something. It's not just
But yeah, I laughed too.
yeah.
And I didn't understand what that was about because at no point before that do I remember her being able to use the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, she just
Well,
goes,
I think
"Yay!" like an astronaut.
I remember Lucas. He was like she is Force sensitive, but she has other things to do with her life. Like I remember him saying that she's not really going to become a Jedi.
Right. I'm pretty sure, when they were both born, her and Luke,
Yes.
that they were,
They're force sensitive.
right. Luke trained in it. She did
Right.
not. Thus, she should not be able to use the Force.
I mean, like, the most she could be able to do would be, like, pull a broom towards herself. Like the little kid did. Like, I think she could do very basic things. I don't think she could force her way out from outer space back into her ship.
And then die.
No, she lived.
I thought she died.
She
No, no,
lived in the
no.
movie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but Carrie Fisher passed.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher did die. That's right. That's what happened. I knew what she died somehow. Sad to say.
I remember we were actually in the movie theater when that was announced that she had passed, and we're because Sam was pregnant, she just started bawling
Oh,
because Carrie Fisher is like one of her heroes, and I don't blame her. Carrie Fisher's amazing.
right. So, anything else you want to add to the movie situation?
I don't know. Watch me think of stuff as soon as we sign off.
Yeah, you might. But I think
But
we've covered a good number of movies and how. I think we've covered the basis of
yeah,
this conversation, which is a lot of movies that are being remade are not good,
yeah,
and they're just doing it for money.
yeah. Like just don't support it. Stop telling them that this works because it's going to continue to go downhill.
Right, and the quality and production
Yeah,
value keeps going down. And it's just there's some movies who are rising to the occasion, and others just, hey, we're gonna make
yeah,
money, so why not?
yeah. Like
But yeah,
I just like passion projects.
I mean that's fine. But I think that's a good place to end it off. What do you say?
Yeah, I think so. I've talked for like 20 minutes, which is more than I normally do.